This is the third series of Dream Space from Factory International with me, Gemma Cairney. I'm a broadcaster, a creator, an art lover, and many things, very intrigued by the act of dreaming and where the lines blur between reality and dream, which I think is a necessity that we do often. How do dreams and our hopes and desires shape how we act in our everyday lives? There are sleepy visions of what the world can be more often than not. They arrive in our minds in the middle of the night, during sleep, but do they? Are they following us around wherever we go? They're not limited to our unconscious moments. They can be real things that we can hold, feel, and make reality by building towards. Ultimately, it can be difficult to transmute those flutters of fantasy into action. And that's why we have Dream Space, where we invite creative visionaries to share their dreams, exploring the past and present and future possibilities. In this episode, we're also going to be exploring how we can create worlds outside of everyday limits.
Like, at some point, we have to ask ourselves, why do we think the other voices are true? Why? When I have at my disposal this limitless potential that is natural to my mind. No way, not going back. As the saying goes, I'm not going back.
For this particular instalment, we're talking to the extraordinary visual artist whose experimental work interrogates the fine details of the human experience. Juliet Ellis is an award-winning director, actor, performance artist, and theatre maker. Her work has toured extensively and has been screened at international film festivals including London, Oberhausen, South Africa, and the US. She's also a photographer to boot. Her films have examined the nature of death and grief, our relationships with our aging bodies, and how we can all dream differently as we make our way through society. I've got a heads up. This episode features a very special period of meditation. It's fine to listen if you are on the move, of course, but you'll get the real full benefit if you're somewhere calm and you're ready to relax, where you can really immerse yourself into the dream space with us. Here's Juliet Ellis's Dream Space. Hello and welcome.
Hello, and it's nice to be here.
Juliet, where do we begin with someone who I'm already in deep respect of, not only for artistic practice, but also for a kind of sensibility, a feeling or an evocation of a dream already? I know that you're a practicing Buddhist and you're wearing today like meditation
props,
in Harlem,
yeah.
on your chest. Like, Are you already a dreamboat of a person?
I don't know, because it's an interesting word, isn't it, dream? Because it has so many layers and so many meanings. So I think what I try to do in my work is to try and get out of the way and to listen. I think my biggest thing, I relate that kind of dream state to listening to the things that I feel can limit me, certain thoughts, certain ideas. If I just meditate and dissolve those away, that's the space where I want to try and make my work. And I know from my instincts whether that's true or not. Sometimes I know when I'm trying to be clever, and you have a clever idea, and then you want everybody to know how clever you are. When I was younger, it's I'm clever, I'm cool, I'm this and this and this. Now I don't really care. I just think what does the work require? And how can I manifest that in my own mind to make that clear? So I think that's a really important aspect for me, because all the other noises about, I want to be respected, I want to be seen as this, I hope people get me, I want this job next, or I want that. Like, that's just noise, and it has nothing to do with the work, like nothing. So that's my ambition, to always try and get away from those selves and just try to be in a space that is as authentic to the work as possible.
I am really compelled by that notion and that space of truth for oneself. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. When you know what you want from a situation or can achieve from a situation, and this instinctual level of creation that you describe, I am interested as to how it is affected by others, because I would see myself as a meditative person. I love to create. I also love to collaborate.
Yeah.
But I understand and can relate to those noises that you speak of. And they can be in our personal and professional lives. They can be on our phones. How do we actually dissipate some of the intensity of that mechanical and quite rigid societal noise?
I mean, you just have to go inwards. You just have to go inwards. You can't think your way into that perspective. You have to meditate your way into that perspective. So we're always saying, happiness and suffering are states of mind. And if you ask anyone, they'll go, oh, yeah. Happiness is a state of mind, suffering is a state of mind. But when we are suffering, we don't think it's a state of mind. We think it's something external that has happened to us and we're reacting to it. So I think in order to dissipate, as you said, those things, you need to be able to understand your own mind. You need to know how it works, and then you need to know what's happening in the meditation process. Meditation can access all different states of mind. I think that's what people don't understand, that your mind is naturally peaceful and you have access to it at any time. But the point is, do you go there? I think that's the thing. And so when I'm creating, when I'm doing a symphony of flesh and bones, I do my preparation before I start work. Like, what mind do I want to be working with? What self do I want to be tapping into?
And do you feel that there is a resonance or a vibration in terms of response when working and translating that to others? If you found your sense of self that you have wanted to tap into when in motion, on a set, or describing at pitch level, working with others, can you see that deep sense of self kind of ripple out and affect others to go in the right direction?
Yeah, I mean, because ultimately, I meditate not just for myself, but ultimately to be of service to others. And, like I did a short art film for Sky Arts called Somewhere. And, on the first day, you have everyone introduce themselves, and someone said, oh, I'm just a runner. And that's not acceptable to me. That's not acceptable to put just in front of the word runner, because at the end of the day, I want to create an environment where everyone feels like whatever contribution that you have, we're all interdependent. No one can do their job right without someone else. We're not an island. We're all interdependent. And so you just want to feel that you're in a space where people feel that their creativity, even as a runner, you can be creative as a runner. Like your creativity is contributing. And I feel like that when you make a piece, like for me, it's really important that when an audience is in the environment that I'm creating for them, you want to feel that if one member of the audience left, the piece changes. It changes. that person affected what the performance was. Otherwise, what are we doing? Like, what are the people doing when they're sat there? If not, each individual counts. You need to feel that something changed if somebody left, that it's just not this homogenized experience that everybody's having and it doesn't matter. But you just want to feel that everybody in that environment, when they're coming to watch, is not a consumer. They're a person who's coming to hopefully want an experience.
Who's contributing.
Thank you. There is no performance without the
heartbeat,
audience. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I mean, it made me think of the noises in an audience space. Having been in the audience so much, you do feel, chortling of laughter or bristling of uncomfortable moments. You can hear people's stomachs churn at points. It is a physical and visceral reaction to be amongst art and the work of art. Hence why the form of film is still so relished in the cinemascape than just watching it on your sofa and streaming it whilst on your phone scrolling through Instagram. Yeah, I feel like we need the cinema. I feel like we need spaces where there's a collective. I think there's too much time spent, revolving around just oneself. So I'm all for it if people keep going to the cinema. Just being in company.
Or being in company or going to restaurants or going, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, it's just great.
I didn't know that was going to become so radical in my lifetime, but apparently it is.
No, being with others is a radical act. Wow, who knew?
Unbelievable. And is everyone invited? Everyone is allowed to come into this space of peace?
Without exception. Without exception. Otherwise, what are we doing? Can you imagine, what's the point in, enjoying your own party of, enlightenment and everybody else is suffering? Well, that's no fun. And so that's what my job is. And I strive to do that. And I'm not saying I don't fail. And that's why I need to meditate as a practice. But you want to see everyone. You want to relate to everyone.
Is there language in your dream space? Because we've talked about terminology and words, but I sometimes find particularly the English language to be limiting when you're inviting everybody in.
For me, I think in images. I've always been very image-based. My work, I don't tend to rely on words. And even though there's words in the piece, I think the piece could work without them being there as well. I think I've always been drawn to photography or film or visual or music. Words, in some ways, is a second language to me, even though I use them. But if I could communicate, it would definitely be in an image. It's the first thing I think of, and the language always comes second. Like a lot of people, when we create film, we have a script, and then we put images to a script. I'm kind of the other way around. I'd rather have the images and then put words to the images. I don't know. It's just that's the way my brain works in that. And, other people work with numbers. They see everything with numbers or, sound. But once your mind is settled and you're in that piece, you want those gross conceptual thoughts to just be gone.
I would love that.
Basically.
I would love that. Don't need to overthink it.
No, our problem is we're overthinking already. Stop overthinking. Stop it.
Take us to the sky-like mind. What is the sky-like mind?
Wow. So each and every person has the limitless potential for all like profound minds of like love, joy, peace, wisdom. And all we need to do is shut up. If I was to ask you now, like let's just stop for a moment and you just become aware of your thoughts. And the mind is like distracted with lots of incessant thoughts just flowing through. And we want to quieten the mind. And so like my teacher, Geshe Kelsang Gyatso, he said that the mind is like a clear sky and that the thoughts are like clouds. And so what we want to do is we want to have a relationship with our sky-like mind, and the only way we can do that is to quieten the mind. And when you quieten the mind, it's like like a stone descending in a clear lake. All the thoughts will just settle. And settle and settle, and the awareness settles into its true nature, which is peace. And so sometimes you can have an object to do that, like in a breathing meditation. You can kind of focus on the sensation of the breath passing through the nostrils, and that becomes the object of meditation. You just keep focused on that. Your mind just naturally settles into a peaceful place. And what we want to do is become familiar with that, because we're familiar with all the other states of mind, like the anxious mind or depressed mind or stressful mind. And instead of just thinking, oh, they're just things that are appearing to my mind like clouds, instead of identifying with those minds, let me just identify with my skylight mind. And Geshe says, like, even the strongest thunderstorm, so even the strongest feelings of like anxiety or stress or melancholy or depression, they cannot destroy the skylight mind. And we know that, don't we? Because we've seen thunderstorms, and at the time they feel like, whoa, oh my God, this is like insane. And then the next day, clear sky. Because nothing can destroy the sky. And I think that's bringing it back to like creating, because I know a lot of artist friends who are so stilted with self-doubt, so much so that it kind of can become a blocking mechanism to the thing that you need to do, which is to make the thing that is you need to make. And so we need to find a way of like not relating to those selves, not listening to them, accepting them and recognizing that they're there, but we don't have to believe them. We don't have to impute self. I, Juliet, is depressed, and fix that self to that cloud.
I'm there for this. I am stepping into the sky-like mind. Where does it match up, the making and doing, with the dreaming and floating?
I think there's no separation. I think once you're in that state, it's like that's how you continue to live your life, like making coffee, making work. So there's no separation. That mind isn't separate from the mind that I work with. So what it does, I feel it gives me access to something more subtle in the mind. And what that means is I just interpret that through the images. So a lot of the time when you see the images in a symphony of flesh and bones, I dreamt a lot of those images. When you see the environment, I dreamt that environment because I was like, well, what am I doing and where is this piece going to live? And I dreamt that space. And then when I thought, 8 screens, north, south, east, west, and then the cardinal points, I thought, that's like a mandala. So a mandala in Buddhism is like we offer like a pure world. Like we take away all the limitations of what we think this world, who I am, and we offer it. And that's what I'm trying to do with the audience. I'm trying to get to that state that is subtle, a subtler state, a dream state, if you like. Geshe says that there's no difference between the waking world and a dream world. The only difference is the minds that it appears to. So, we have 3 states of mind. We have a gross conceptual mind, and then we have a subtle dream mind, and then we have a very subtle mind that we only experience in the process of dying and in deep meditation. So I try to be in that space, and then that's interpreted through the images that I create, the things that I want to say, the things that I want to explore. So the environment for this came from a dream, but it came from, it's like a mandala. The mandala that I practice has 8 sides, so it was quite interesting. So that's the relationship, and then you just also learn to listen. So when you're doing something, it's almost like you become a technician, and everything's just working through me. Like when I meditate or when I'm teaching, it's like I'm just a vessel. It's not mine. It's just coming through me, and then you want to share that with others.
And what was it that opened that door? Was there a particular moment? Was there a person? Like you said, like no one necessarily tells you that you can move through hard times or hard feelings.
Yeah. My first job as an actor, and I was working at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield, and there was a guy called Brian who I'd known actually through different circles, and he just had this way about him, man. One of those people where you just go, I just want to be you.
Yeah.
And not your circumstance, whatever possessions you have in the heart, that's what I want. And it's funny because I it's come full circle, because I did lie on my CV because I just love acting or creative. So I've never had hobbies. And I thought, well, I better put a hobby on my bloody CV. So I put meditation. Yeah. Mine was meditation. And we're at the photocopier, and he's photocopying, things. And he was like, so you said on your CV that you meditate. What kind of meditation? And I thought, oh shit, is there more than one type of meditation? What does he mean? I went, just like meditating. And later, and then I said to him later on, what are you doing tonight? He said, I'm teaching a meditation class. And I thought, oh my God. Anyway, I went to the meditation class, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I knew actually when I was going, because it took me a long time to go in, because I knew something was going to happen. I knew from that point my life was going to change. I just, when you just know, I just knew that whatever I thought, whatever I did, it's going to change this moment on. So it took me a while to actually go in. And then when I went in, I just felt like I was at home. Is in my mind home. And I just thought, oh, wow, I'm so much more than what I thought. How I appeared is not how I was existing. And it was amazing to have that knowledge, to access in that part of my mind. Amazing.
I love how much you describe it as in your mind.
Yeah.
Because when I'm looking for this sense of retreat, or what you're describing, peace, like all these beautiful like moments of serenity, oasis, whatever, I like try to physically find it. I like put my backpack on.
It's not there, love.
And head north,
It's not that. We've experienced that, haven't we? We have been in the most beautiful places, But if your mind is angry or agitated or frustrated, doesn't matter.
Can you talk us through some of that feeling? Can you take us there? Can you guide us into a physical manifestation or meditation for us in this dream space right now?
Yeah, of course. Let's do it. Let's do it. So we just want to be sitting comfortably with our back straight yet relaxed. And this is just to keep our mind alert. And just allow your awareness to notice the natural rhythm of your breathing. So we're simply just observing the natural rhythm of our breath. And then we go slightly more inwards with our awareness. And if the mind wanders, if it wants to think about something else, we don't follow those thoughts. We simply bring our awareness back. This is an indication of our limitless potential for peace. If your mind can experience a little bit of peace, how much peace can your mind experience? Where is the edge of your mind? Your mind is boundless, limitless, empty like space.
That was so special. A
Great.
dream space first in our third series, in terms of you really took me as host and whoever is listening in the future on a journey.
Thank you.
In a really, really different way to what we've experienced. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'd just like to say that, like, when you reach that peaceful state, impute the I on it. I have the potential for any profound minds. Your dream space is always with you. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to catch a train. Your dream space will always be with you. It's always there, always.
How long have you had this practice available to you?
Oh, over 20 years. I'm really fortunate, I think, because, you know the story. I was angry, man. I was vexed. The world didn't bend itself to me. I felt angry because of my circumstance of, all the thing about being working class, black, woman, whatever. You just feel like they're punishments rather than empowerment. That's what I love about Buddhism. You have to really look in the mirror. We say the mirror of Dharma, but you really have to look in the mirror and go, what is it? They're superpowers for me now. They're superpowers. Being black is my superpower. Being working class is my superpower. Do you know what I mean? Being a woman it's my superpower. I'm not attached to them. I just recognize that I'm not going to allow them to be things that limit me anymore. Like, at some point, we have to ask ourselves, why do we think the other voices are true? Why? When I have at my disposal this limitless potential that is natural to my mind. No way, not going back. As the saying goes, I'm not going back.
with your work, you are inviting people in.
Yes.
And I love this idea that it is without exception.
Yeah.
It feels futuristic to me in the sense that I do look back and I do try to be present, but I also, when I feel momentum, it's like when I'm looking forward, and that forward is a space of forgiveness and all the profundities of that, and healing and collective and together. And it's like the simplicity in just saying without exception, you can find the sky-like mind in Juliet's dream space. It's just like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's simple. Everyone's invited.
It's so simple. Yeah, everybody's invited to that party. Always.
Wow. We're all artists and we're all invited, no exception. What a precious gift that Juliet has given us all with her guided meditation and outlook on life and work as an artist and dedicated dreamer. I am so inspired. I'm inspired to keep meditating, keep dreaming, and keep washing away any fear that there are or we find in the quiet. I'm Gemma Cairney. Thank you for listening. Join us again next time for a wander through another artist's dream space. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast and share it with whoever you think might be interested, your chosen community, someone that you're thinking of. Reach out. Your support means a lot to us. And if you can't wait until the next episode, then there are so many more. Head to Factory International's website to find more creative content on Factory Plus. And if this is your first taste of our amazing podcast universe, then thank you for joining us. It's really lovely to have you. We'll look forward to seeing you back here next time. But there's so many quality dream experiences in previous episodes. We've got series 1, 2, and now we're in 3. So just get right involved. Dream Space was hosted by me, Gemma Cairney, and this episode was produced by Derek Armar, with sound design by Solomon King and music by Andrew P.M. Hunt. The executive producer is Dan Jackson, and this is a reduced listening production for Factory International, curated by Scott Simoniti and Alex Mannion-Jones.